The Cincinnati Bengals. A team that struggled over the past couple of years with relevancy. But a shining star broke through. And that was LSU quarterback Joe Burrow. Very electric in his personality. And he was able to show stints in the NFL last season where he could really be an excellent quarterback. But then he got hurt. And suddenly across fans, a debate started happening. And then it started happening in the head office. Then a couple of days ago, we got word. An announcement came out from CEO owner of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, that he has officially purchased the Cincinnati Bengals. And will be moving them to an undisclosed location as of this moment. The city has not been announced. But we will see where Bezos looks to take the Cincinnati Bengals in the future. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Cass here, and we are here with the relocation franchise of the Cincinnati Bengals. As we heard in the opening of this video, Bezos has not decided where the Cincinnati Bengals are going to go. But he does have an idea for this football team. We are fresh off the Super Bowl between the Chiefs and the Bucks, as of course the Bucks come out with the W. If you saw, apparently we have some retirements. Let's actually check that. We checked that. The Bengals. Actually, no, we do not have a retirement. But, so let's look at our contract negotiation here in episode 0. We're going to get some of these contracts done, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we are back. We've negotiated with the guys that want to be negotiated with. William Jackson, Carl Lawson, and AJ Green and John Ross have all decided that they do not want to go with the Cincinnati Bengals to the location that the new owner, Jeff Bezos, wants the Bengals to go to. Will Jackson, who was a star on this football team, very much was committed to Cincinnati, Ohio, so he will be leaving the squad. But we were able to convince Mackenzie Alexander, cornerback, fifth-year cornerback out of Clemson, to come back to the Cincinnati Bengals, as well as we were able to convince LaShawn Sims. LaShawn Sims was easy to convince, thinking that he would get a way better start on this football team with the way that some players are not going to want to be on this team. So we've got to take that into account going through this first off season. Is some players don't want to play on this team. And it's sad to say that one of those is the guy that they thought would be the star of this squad. And that's Joe Burrow. Burrow was an Ohio boy through and through. And he doesn't want to play for the Cincinnati Bengals if they're not going to be in Cincinnati, in his home state of Ohio. So he is officially wanted to be traded away. So we've got to go through, we've got to trade Burrow. There are teams that have shown interest. One's the Denver Broncos, who I think would be a very good decision for the Broncos to take an option here at Cincinnati. Cincinnati also could look to secure some draft picks out of this. Is they're going to look to go for 2 firsts and a third for Joe Burrow. The Broncos are actually not going to be interested in trading so much for Burrow because the Bengals know per NFLPA rule that they have to trade Burrow. So they're going to cut down on 1 pick and add in a 3rd pick. And a 4th next year to get the Broncos' number 1 overall pick. Deal done. So I will now go and show you everybody else that wants to be traded. Actually, guys, I've decided that the rest of the players that want to be traded, we're going to add on the trade block. Tyler Boyd going to be added to the trade block. Jesse Bates has decided he doesn't want to go play here, so he'll be added to the trade block. Actually, Jesse Bates, it's Von Bell that has decided he doesn't want to play here. So he'll be added to the trade block as well. And for cap reasons, we will be releasing Geno Atkins. Okay, so I don't know where I went to this. And we will also be releasing Darius Phillips. So this is what the team looks like before all the trades massively go down. So let's go ahead. Check a look on free agency. Now free agency is going to be a little difficult. There's not a lot of teams that really want to come out and play for a team that has no future at the moment. But we were able to go out and sign former Titans fullback Kyrie Blossingame. Blossingame played a major role in getting Derrick Henry the 2,000-yard season last season. So they're going to look to bring him in to play. Now with the loss of Giovanni Bernard, a backup running back could be very important for this team. But they're not looking like they're getting many responses from people in that conversation. As well with Tyler Boyd wanting out. Not a lot of people really wanting to come play there either. Because, like I said, the NFLPA has the rule that unless a player in free agency wants to come play for your team as a relocation squad, and that's typically the rule taking within free agency in general. But a person that does seem interested is Jared Cook. So the Bengals have officially offered Cook. They are still the Bengals until the new team name gets announced. another guy after a very impressive season with the New Orleans Saints. The Bengals are going to look to bring in Trey Henderson and Justin Houston. So two big players on the defensive line are looking to be brought in by the Cincinnati Bengals. And after the struggle that Trufant had in Atlanta after the Super Bowl season, he hasn't really got a lot of teams interested. But one team that has been interested is the Cincinnati Bengals. They think that Trufant can get back to his all-pro ways, so they've offered him a contract. We're going to advance the week here in this offseason. We've got Houston. Cook actually decided to reject us. So the need of a tight end is growing. There are tight ends in the draft, so if this team could very much still go tight end in the draft. But one person they are going to bring in to be a backup predominantly, because they are, in my opinion, looking to go quarterback in this draft, is Robert Griffin III. They bring him in to be the backup quarterback to hopefully their first-round draft pick. And Trufant and RG3 accept those offers. And it's going to look like now we're going to look to step up and trade some of the players that don't want to be on this football team. And with this trade, the Bengals fear up a lot of the guys that want to be traded, such as Von Bell, Tyler Boyd, and Trey Waynes. And they're actually going to end up receiving a guy that's an all-star player but has some issues off the field, some disagreements with media that a lot of teams don't really want to take into account. But with this team being in such need of players on the offensive line, the Bengals go ahead and show up Richie Incognito as well as a 2nd and 4th round pick for Boyd and Von Bell. So with that, with the class, it's now time for the NFL draft. As now we are here within the NFL draft. The 5th pick is here, and with the 1st overall pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars will take Trevor Lawrence. That's a lock. So there's no way we get Lawrence. The Jets go with Justin Fields. Penei Sewell goes to the Dolphins to help with protection for Tua Tagovailoa. Now Atlanta's an important pick. Do they go with a quarterback, or do they give the Bengals Trey Lance? They go with Micah Parsons, and it looks like that the Cincinnati Bengals are going to show up Trey Lance, the strong arm quarterback from North Dakota State. So now Pick 9 is the next pick for the Cincinnati Bengals, as they take Jamar Chase. 3 more picks, and then the Bengals are up again. Jalen Waddle goes, and Patrick Surtain. The pick is here. Do you go with Devonta Smith? Do you take Devonta Smith, give you another weapon to put on the side of T. Higgins, or do you trade back? Because if you trade back, that gives you more picks to build your team overall, and it seems like the Bengals are looking to trade back. The Bengals need to improve this year, and that's what they're doing. They're trading with the Minnesota Vikings, moving back 5 spots, and getting an extra 3rd and 4th round pick this year. The Vikings go with Gregory Rousseau. Wyatt Davis goes. Darrisaw goes to the Giants. If Devonta Smith gets through San Francisco and Los Angeles Chargers, you got to think the Bengals will take him at that point. Farley goes to San Francisco, and Cosme goes. They're very high on Rashad Bateman, though. So do you take the opportunity to take Devonta Smith, or do you move back again, get more picks? And it looks like they're moving back again in the 1st round. The Titans want to trade with 2021. And it looks like they're also wanting to trade a 2021 2nd round pick. So that the Bengals are going to trade that, and the Titans end up going with Kwity Paye, the defensive end. The Pats snatch up Joe Horn. Dylan Moses goes to the Raiders. Pitts to Miami finally. The Bengals 2 picks away. Zach Wilson finally goes to the Colts, and now the Bengals are sitting here at 22, thinking if they should now go with Devonta Smith. He's the number 1 player on the board at this point. And they just don't look like they seem to be high on Smith. So they're going to look to trade back once again to secure some more picks. The Jets are here offering them a 5th, along with their 2021 pick for this year. But it doesn't seem like the offers are there, so the Bengals are actually going to take this pick. Smith doesn't seem to be the guy they're looking at, though. Is they're actually going to go Trayvon Moehrig. They need a guy to replace Von Bell, and I think they just got it. In a huge, strong safety from the University of TCU. Marvin Wilson then goes. Jordan Davis. Devonta Smith finally set sail. So the Bengals are now on the clock at pick 6 in the 2nd round. And their guy was taken off the board. So now you got to see the frustration that has to be on the face of Cincinnati. Brevin Jordan's there, but I don't think you take him now. You maybe do. Maybe he's an early guy. They need some weapons on that offense. Their next pick in the 2nd round is 16th. So that may be too late to snag Brevin Jordan. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to take him in the second round. Brevin Jordan, the tight end vertical threat out of Miami, is the pickup for the Cincinnati Bengals. Receiver still needs to be addressed. Rondale Moore now goes off the board. Middle linebacker and outside linebacker is actually going to be the problem. And they're going to go with Cameron Moregrove, the middle linebacker out of Michigan. And that's a good pick for Cincinnati. Get a big star middle linebacker to play that inside role. And now at 21, there's no real second round receivers left. It actually going to look like they're going to go with Amara St. Brown, the wide receiver out of USC, and they do. And he is a really good player and was out of USC. So let's see if that's going to be able to translate to the NFL. Here in the third round at Cincinnati, Cincinnati's actually going to end up looking at multiple positions. They're looking at cornerback, which could definitely be a way to go. Walker Little's still there. They need protection now for Trey Lance. That's kind of how Burrow got hurt last year, is the limited amount of protection they had for him. And I think that's the smart decision, is to go for Walker Little, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to go for Walker Little, the left tackle out of Stanford. You could look at multiple guys, but I think the smart pick here is to take a shot on Asante Samuel, and that's what they're going to do. They take a shot on the cornerback out of Florida State, the son of Asante Samuel, and they take a shot on Asante Samuel Jr. It looks like here in the fourth round, they're going to go for Michael Carter, the running back out of North Carolina. Hopefully to play backup role to Joe Mixon. With the loss of Giovanni Bernard, that's a big hole in their team. In a very needed position. In the fourth round, they're actually going to move up a little bit, take him where he wasn't expected, and they're going to grab Tutu Atwell to play receiver and possibly even kick return for the Cincinnati Bengals. They're going to go with Pete Werner out of Ohio State at the outside linebacker position. Clayton Robertson, the kicker out of Minnesota, is the pick here. And finally, here at the last pick of the draft, they're going to take Brent Stewart, the punter out of the University of Clemson. And that's going to be the end of the draft for the Cincinnati Bengals. Some positions were shored up. And we're going to see how it goes at the end of this season. After a rough 2021 season, the Cincinnati Bengals are now set to finally announce where they will be going in 2022. A 3-13 season. We will now find out as we head to the off season where the Cincinnati Bengals will be heading to. And here it is. The shining waters of Sacramento, California. The same state that hosts Jeff Bezos' famous Silicon Valley. Bezos wanted to move another team closer to his stomping grounds in California, and he's done it with the Sacramento Condors. So it is official, guys. This series will now be called the Sacramento Condors Relocation Franchise. Can Jeff Bezos do what needed to be done? Did he do what needed to be done when moving the Cincinnati Bengals into California? This is going to be the last off-season video before the next episode will be us finally getting in week 1 and playing the games. As far as contracts go, Justin Houston wants a new deal. I'll pay him $10 million. I'll pay him $10 million on the dot. If he doesn't want to come back for that, that's fine. I'll pay him $10 million exactly on the dot. He'd rather test out free agency, that's fine. Same with Sam Hubbard, don't want him back. Auden Tate has showed no intrigue to come back. And with the rise of Amante St. Brown, there's no reason he should. So, a third receiver is going to be what we're looking for in this class, as well as some more protection for Trey Lance, is where you look like we may get it here with Wyatt Taylor. We scoop up Wyatt Taylor there. And at defensive tackle, they're going to go and look to scoop up Snacks Harris and Damian Harris to be the backup to DJ Reader. But they really need a guy to play that left end position. But it looks like they're going to be looking for that in the draft. Matthew Judon is also a guy that looks to come out, but they're actually going to look to spend big bucks and bring in Chandler Jones. Limited money now on the books for the Condors. That's actually going to be all they're going to look to spend in free agency, as they bring in some very impressive players on the defensive side of the ball, and as well as some offensive linemen in Wyatt Teller, Chandler Jones, and Snacks Harrison. So now we're going to head right into the NFL draft, where there are some definite holes in this football team. Receiver, with the loss of Auden Tate, looks to be an option. Maybe not early, but at some point that would look to be an option. I don't know how reliable they are on Tutu Atwell to play on an elite level, but we could hope that they trust Tutu a little bit to play in that position, so they don't know. So overall, you don't know when they want to take a receiver. The way Amante St. Brown played last year, he looks like a very impressive guy that could grow up to be the guy on this squad. Him and T. Higgins are an impressive combo to watch. Maybe you go out and get a defensive end with your first overall pick. That's probably where I would go. So you go out and secure a first round defensive end. That may be what they do with the number 1 overall pick. But let's see what the class looks like as we step in with the number 1 overall pick. And that's actually what they're going to do. They take Oscar Allen, the defensive end out of the University of Vanderbilt. Oscar Allen was a great player in college, and he hopes to be able to proceed that to the next level. And they grow up and also snag Brandon Fowler in the second round, the wide receiver out of Southern Miss. And with that, the Condors actually traded away the lower end of their draft picks, so that the Condors are actually going to not have a 5th, 6th, and 7th round pick. So with their addition of Oscar Allen, as well as Brandon, the receiver out of Southern Miss, that's going to be the full run in the offseason for this football team, as this is going to be the team headed in to the next season, as well as a running back that was drafted in the 4th round, Jonathan Curry out of San Jose State. As Tyrone Johnson, the receiver out of Oklahoma State, was actually beat out and released by Brandon Fowler. So our starting receivers going into this season, our starting 4 is T. Higgins, Amante St. Brown, Brandon Fowler, and Tutu Atwell, with Brevin Jordan as the tight end position. Maybe the offensive line isn't where you want it at this point. but hopefully it can get there. The defensive positions look very good. Oscar Allen gets the start at left end with Trey Hendrickson flipping back to his natural position of right end. Also, big news inside the NFL. The Cincinnati Bengals were not the only team to move ship. The Condors, of course, are the name of the new Cincinnati Bengals. But the Chargers have also moved, as they're now in Toronto, and they are the Huskies. I do believe that's the only team that actually relocated, and it is. But now, with two new teams in the NFL, the Jeff Bezos ran Sacramento Condors, and the Bill Gates ran Toronto Huskies, we've got to see how this team is going to walk out into week 1. As this is going to be the end of episode 2. Our first episode will lead off as we travel to Carolina, to Bank of America Stadium, to take on the Carolina Panthers. But can Zach Taylor, can Jeff Bezos, and the newly formed Sacramento Condors take a strike to the NFL, their first year as a franchise?